this episode of Wild and Weird Radio Live.
I do think that probably within the next year or two, the government will tell the truth to some degree.
But what is truth? And who controls the truth? Would you know it if you heard it?
A member of our government has told you,
should you believe it? If they do,
that there is a form of alien life that interacted in some form with people?
Yeah.
We're captured aliens. We're breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication.
A bunch of nonsense, but with the truth hidden in there, so that when the truth does come out, it's embedded in a bunch of nonsense that nobody takes seriously. It works really well.
Join us for this special presentation of Wild and Weird Radio Live.
Greetings, all you wild and weirdos and weirdettes. This is going to be a very special edition of Wild and Weird Radio Live. We have an incredible show planned out for you tonight. We're going to go down some rabbit holes. But before we do that, Joseph, why don't you welcome some of these fine folks in and let them all know exactly what's up?
You better believe it. So straight out of the gate, we got Old Hippie and Stone Maven out here kicking the doors in with some donations here. We appreciate you both. Y'all are amazing. We hope everybody, first off, had a fantastic time at the gathering last weekend. I know that it was great for us. We had a good time. We enjoyed being able to see everybody and get to spend time with folks. I know we didn't get to speak and sit down with as many of you guys as we wanted to throughout the evening because, you know, it's a little hectic to try to manage and run one of these things. But I think everybody seemed to have had a good time.
Oh, I think they
Ada
did. Yeah.
coming in clutch as well right there with the aliens and owls as always. Thank you so much, Ada. We appreciate you. Then let's go. Let's get them in here. We got Gary Foote. We've got Donna Hogan. We've got the West Virginia Bigfoot Project.
We've got new folks. We've got over 50 people out there looking. Come on in. Come on in, guys.
We've got Brenda Ratliff hanging out. Everybody, if you're new out there, chime in the chat. We'll get you greeted in here. Lisa, what's going on? Rachie, how's it going? Linda, good to see you. Hope you're feeling better. Jordan Booker, happy Thursday. Right back at you, brother. We've got Enzo in the house. We've got Ike the Fob, Daddy Fobber hanging out.
That's appropriate because I actually have the video.
Oh, fantastic. Well, as soon as we get everybody greeted in, we're going to run that video.
We're going to run it. Yeah, we're going to run it.
Then we got Ada Cox. We've got Teresa SRI. What's going on, Teresa? Good seeing you there, Teresa. It was awesome seeing you at the event this past weekend, too. And then we've got, let's see, Stone Maven. We've got Oz. What's up, Oz? Good to see you. Yeah. Tristan Myers driving home, but I'm listening. Hey,
awesome.
Just listen. Stay tuned. We're hopefully you're gonna be getting home soon. If not, you can just rewind. We've got some really cool visuals coming up here in a bit. And here is Hellbent Holler. We got Jesse and Joe hanging out there. Hi, everybody. I'm here. Everything is going to be okay now. Hope you guys have checked out their latest Over with Small Town Monsters. I actually watched it today while I was at work. You guys did a great job. Fantastic work over there, as always. Steven Taylor brought over here. It's one of the Hellbenders. It looks like they brought in a bunch of their folks. Lady Wolf as well. Octopus is here. We've got Iski. What's going on, Iski? Good seeing you. Trackway has arrived. The Trackway clan is in the house.
Perfect.
Then we got who else? Rick Skinner.
Skinner's here.
Skinner's in the house. Good. Hey, man, it was awesome getting to meet you guys this weekend.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we get to spend some more time together next time y'all are up this way. You've got some interesting conversations.
Yes, and we have interesting plans in the future, so we'll definitely be reaching out.
Brenda loved the get together. Thanks. I'm glad you loved it. It was awesome actually meeting you in person.
Thank you. Well, you know what? I got a little clip we can show for those folks who didn't make it out there.
It's here.
Yeah. So
now we're here. We got them all. I think I got them all in.
Okay, everybody's in.
At least, and there's Chris. What's up, Chris?
Chris made it. Folks, if you are just joining us and you don't know how this show works, you are a part of the conversation. We will actually be looking to you for some opinions, questions, all the above, because we're going to be talking about some pretty crazy stuff. Before we do that, let's go back to the weekend and let's just pop this on here really quick.
Dave Eggleston coming in hot. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, brother. It was good meeting you again this weekend. Thank you all for welcoming such a truculent flatlander to break bread with you anytime, man. It was great having you. We appreciate you, and thanks for making the drive.
And there was a lot of bread to break, by the way.
There was indeed. Let's get that beautiful footage rolling.
Yeah, let's roll that stuff. Let's go to take us to the theater there.
You got it.
And I will load this thing up and we'll take a look. What in the world did it do? There we go. It's being wonky. Okay, let's see. I believe it is this one right here. This is the abridged version of the one that we put up here earlier. I think it's this one. Meeting clip. Yeah. Short. Okay, here we go. What's your take so far?
Hey, I'm excited. We've been having a good time. We have a great turnout. We've got a ton of food. Everybody's getting ready to get their plates and sit down. Trackway is getting ready to go up. I'm having a blast. I think it's going to be a good night.
So how would you rate the food?
I mean, I'm kind of biased.
All right, folks, that's it. We're going to go get us some food. We're going to cut the cameras, get some food, and then we're going to come back here when all the presentations start, and we'll start getting some of that and let you guys see what is going on at one of these things.
Good. I want to see all the researchers, actual researchers. Consider yourself a researcher. Raise your hand. There you go. There you go. Well, that's what we want to see. We want to see you guys share data, and that's what the collective does. So you're going to get to see some really cool stuff today. You're going to see some things we're working on in the background. You're going to see stuff that other people have collected, and you're also going to get a lot of really food. We have some incredible prizes donated by you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody's going to need something. I want to thank every single one of you for coming out and supporting the collective and helping the collective reach this, because, man, this is a dream. Absolute dream.
Speaking of, tonight is the last night to go get your I Am Disclosure t-shirts on sale. They're $16. They're going to go back up to $25 at the end of the night over on TeePublic's website. There are links over on the Wild and Weird page. I posted up a hurry up and go get them link. That'll take you to the black I Am Disclosure shirt. You can also just click on the Visit Artist Store and see the other shirts that are all on sale right now, as well as the other Collective Shield I Am Disclosure shirt. Your audio's cut.
You can change it to any color you want. You know, you can
Yeah, there's
customize
tie-dye,
those.
purple, red,
Yeah,
green.
yeah.
I got an acid wash black for my
See, I was going to do
I Am
that.
Disclosure.
I was going to do that acid wash. I thought that looked really cool, but I went ahead and got the navy, the dark navy.
Yeah.
It looks good in dark navy. So
It really does. And I got the OD green with the shield.
the shield. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I like that one. So yeah, those will be a lot of fun. Let's get everybody's
Hey,
stuff back up
Justin Joe said we'll show up at one of these when Joe and Ron cough up for our exorbitant speaking fee.
Oh, I know. We can't afford you though. That's just
I know you guys are too much.
Yeah, just too much.
Speaking of probably too much, you guys I heard put on an absolute heck of a show down at the Cryptid Camp out last weekend, or
I saw
late
that
last week. And you pretty much 2-person showed it and killed it by what I hear. So congratulations on taking that on.
That's awesome.
We got Scorpius. What's going on?
Welcome, Scorpius.
Nat Rugettes, what's up? Okay, so we're Jason Huffman. Good seeing you. Where you want to start at, man?
All right. Well, there's a little bit in the news, so let's just hit the news really quick.
Stone Maven's going to be wearing to the Roswell UFO Festival.
Oh, well, make sure you represent. Make sure you represent. Well, let's at the end of the night, let's make sure we do a drawing for the folks who are here.
Yes. Now hold that up close so everybody can see it.
Sure. These are some little tags that we made.
Scratch resistant tags.
Oh, they're pretty awesome. You can actually wear them, or you can use them as a keychain, as Nathan figured out, which they work very well. But they have our little QR on the back, and it says, right there somewhere, hashtag I Am Disclosure. And what you do, see, if you meet somebody at one of those events, you just pop this thing out and say, well, here, scan that. And it'll take them right to our page, just like that. And then look, you are a disclosure, just like that. You helped us, and you helped everybody, because that's what we do here. It's one thing to kind of read about this stuff. It's another thing to get out there and actually do it. So that's one way to push it forward. And that's what we're going to do. So at the end of the night, the folks that are still here, we're going to enter you in a drawing, and I think we'll do the red one. Does that sound good? The red one good?
Sounds good.
We have different colors, but we'll do red this week. I want to do one of these every week. So eventually probably everybody will end up with one at some point. But yeah, so I'm setting the red one aside. That's going to be for later. Let's start out with the news. Joseph, take this presentation mode, kick in the news actually first. And then take this
Here comes the news, folks. Hope you're ready for it, because
we lied. We lied. We forgot. It's not the news. It's actually, because we said we were going to do this, and people have been wanting it, and they've been wanting it for how long now? Quite a while, right? So it's actually it's the community report. So
that's right. We had a sighting sent in 2 days ago.
We did. We absolutely did. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up Ike's video here.
Oh, you got that? Okay.
I've got that. You got the other one, right? The
yes, I have the
Okay, I want you to read that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to pull this one up first. So let me grab it. Sightings. Actually, you know what? Let's just see if this will work. I'm going to try to do a screen share because I know you guys want to zoom in on it. So let's see if it'll work. Screen share. All right. Window. I believe it is. Where's it at? It's not that one. Hang on a sec. I'll get it to work. Don't worry. We're close to making it work, so we're going to make it work. Anyway, screen share. It may not. It may not work. So we may have to do it.
We're really close, Joe.
What is that?
It's my human teeth.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Anyway, you guys see that? You okay? All right. Y'all ready for that? We're going to roll it.
Okay, yeah, that looks. We can see it.
All right, I'm going to pull this down and we're going to roll it. So here we go.
All right, so you can see this. This is a uniform blinking pattern, unusual blinking pattern, not your typical FAA stuff.
Yeah, let me make the resolution a little better for y'all. Here. It's a little crappy anyway, but here we go. It's a little better. And he tried to zoom in, but it really didn't. It did not help too much. But yeah, it's a weird pattern. It's a weird blinky pattern, but we do see greens. We do see reds on it. I want to zoom in on it right here. What's flashing like that. Let's zoom in and see what we get right here. Okay. So right away, we can see that there is, backing it up, there's a green right here. See it right here? There's a green, there's a red. So these are navigation lights. These are standard navigation lights, but look at the pattern.
It's a triangle.
It's wild, right? Look at that thing.
Now, Ike has seen these multiple nights in a row. And if you look at the location, that was in New Jersey.
Yeah, this is New Jersey. So
put 2 and 2 together, folks.
Yeah, I'm making it go backwards right now. It's not really flying backwards, people. It's just, you know, gotta say that. But yeah, that's I don't know. That's an interesting one. I think we're looking at drones. He thinks we're looking at drones too. So I'm more inclined to say that. Anybody's got any questions, whatnot, feel free to chime in with that. Any observations, anything you've seen that looks similar. There was no sound with this, as I recall as well.
No, there was none.
Yeah.
Now with the other sighting that we had occur took place in one of our more infamous research areas, oddly enough.
No.
And it was from a witness.
Dude, the date.
Yeah. We just missed it.
Yep.
You're froze over there. Can you hear me?
I know. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
All right.
I'll be back.
So Ron and I had just been out there conducting a quick demo. We were doing a mock kind of investigation, just showing in general how we do things on video for Small Town Monsters. Well, we happened to be a mile and a half away from this location just the day or two before, and this guy sent in a report from this area that we very, very first detected radiation on a Bigfoot investigation. So that's significant to us. The area isn't radioactive. The area doesn't have residual pieces of uranium glass or different gas, like radon gas, nothing like that coming up out of the ground. Okay. This is in a state forest. We have all the USGS metrics. We know exactly what's going on in that area. And what he reports was on night 1, hearing some strange sounds, whistles and movement. And on night 2, he stayed up and he began watching towards the hillside, and he noticed this flickering glimmer. He saw this glowing flicker, and it was moving, and he didn't know if it was associated with the other thing that he was hearing. And it to us is extremely intriguing, just because we know what all we've recorded in that exact location, because that's the first place we ever got radiation.
Mm-hmm.
First place that we went to, and we had a near spiritual experience that we've not really disclosed except for a brief glimpse here with Larry once. We had another, that was where I took the crew for finding Bigfoot, and they recorded a large object on the thermal drone. That spot is very hot during certain times of the year, and I do not doubt for one moment that he had some strange experience there. Ron, are you with us?
Yep.
Okay, good deal. All right, so are you ready to jump into the news?
Yeah, I think we're good to go on the news at this point.
All right, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Oh, because you bounced out.
And then I just add, there you go, just like that. All right, let's grab that. And well, first
Here
up,
we go.
yeah. So
Yes, Trackway, that was exactly where they didn't stay in the group camp. They say Matt and Max stayed in the traditional campground. This took place about 1.5 miles away from there, but still 1.5 miles.
oh yeah, absolutely. So Burleson was out there this week talking about this, imminent disclosure that's about to apparently happen.
Your media dropped, by the way.
What is it?
You had a media file pulled up there. It dropped
I know. I see it over here. We're good. So he apparently gave more hints, which means that he's free to talk about these things, right?
Yeah, and Burchett is doing the same thing.
Yeah, he's doing the same thing. Although he's pretty much saying the same thing. He hasn't really said anything new. But Burleson said some new stuff. I've got a couple clips from that, so let's go over there to the press room, as it were. And I'll go ahead and load these up. And okay, here's the first one I want to do.
There are definitely plenty of lights coming in and out of Dover.
Oh yeah.
I was on a few.
We want the American people to see these videos. The American people deserve to know.
What do you think their reaction will be once they see them, having seen them yourself?
I think that we have a lot of footage that's similar to the gimbal video. We have footage that's similar to the Go Fast. There's some that are in pretty good clarity. I've seen a metallic silver orb that's about the size of a beach ball in very, very clear imagery. And then you're seeing there's some videos of immediate acceleration of a flying object, and that's not something that it just defies any normal propulsion or physics that we know of.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but have we not heard similar descriptions to what we just heard? I mean, have we not even seen the videos that actually purport to show that by file name?
We have seen multiple of those, and you and I have actually recorded several of our own.
Right, but more importantly,
he's talking about videos we've already seen, I think.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, it sounds just like the one that Corbell showed, right? The instantaneous acceleration of UAP, that one particular. Yep. I mean, it really sounds like that. But he did go on to actually, God, Terry, no. Terry. Here's the other clip. Now, the other clip was interesting. This was from several sources. I think the original source was from UAP James. But this is... He says a few more things in this. So I don't know. Just watch it and you figure it out.
I was briefed on an event that occurred where they basically tried to set up a perfect case scenario that would cause UAP to come in and then to capture them or to try to document them or record them. And
oh wait, you think you've heard this before? But listen when he says this happened.
It was very successful. So this is when this only happened a few months ago, and this is when the whole conversation changed because that event was one that no one could deny. There were so many people that witnessed these things, and these were all credible people working in our top intelligence sector, and they brought me in and briefed me on this almost within a few days or weeks after this event happened. So. I feel that was nice that they did that. They knew that I was researching this topic. Since then, that is the briefing that everybody wants.
Yes.
So the other members of Congress have heard about this. Leader Scalise wanted the briefing. He got the briefing along with a couple of other members. I had only told Leader Scalise about this, and now everybody wants this briefing.
I mean,
We got one, is what it sounds like.
yeah.
We brought one in and we got it.
You know what else it sounds like? Who else? Who was doing that? And then who stopped?
Watcher, where do you think they went?
Bingo. That's what I'm thinking. No one's saying that, but I'm pretty sure that we know what just happened with that project when it.
Well, we knew that they got bought out. We knew that their whole YouTube stuff, they were paid to stop doing what they were doing. That was not a secret.
Yeah.
And what they were doing, it went full privatized, just like it was being pitched right out of the gate.
Yep.
They had a buyer. The buyer said, "Hey,
yep,
stop streaming."
I'm just calling it for what the data shows, and the data shows that someone did exactly what they said they were going to do.
Yeah.
And they produced the product. Now, what does that mean? I am not sure what that means, but I know what I hope it doesn't mean.
Yeah, I hope our proof doesn't come from, "Hey, we just took this thing out. Here it is."
Right. Right. It's just, I don't want to really think about that, but would you put it by them? No, I wouldn't.
Not in the slightest.
No, wouldn't. So, based upon what we're seeing, I think we're literally just days away at this point from those videos being released. Now, will they change things? Probably not. I think that there's still going to be the skeptics who are, it's not enough for them. They need a piece of the material. They need something. I don't know really what they need, but, I think that it comes down to kind of what this show is going to be about. And that's the data and where it's coming from. Like, just because it's coming from a source like that, can we really trust that kind of, that kind of data? I don't know. I mean, it's been put out there for a while now, right? These whole things. And, I was going through here because we've got some stuff and we're going to be showing. And there was a couple of clips that I went back and I pulled up that I remembered, but I was like, well, they kind of make sense now. Remember the whole nonlinear thing, right? How it all goes together. And one of those clips, well, there's two, but one of those clips was literally about something that, Bob came out and admitted full on. And here's how that all kind of goes together. Go ahead, take us presentation mode and listen to how this stuff falls into place. And then we'll decide again if, this is the truth or is this just part of the plan? I don't know, but listen how it all lines up.
We recovered UAP craft. Okay, some of it's crashed. Not very many of them crashed. Most of them have been intact. I won't give the exact number is classified, but I won't give you the exact number. It's south of 40, and they all are in the United States. We have a few in the United States. We've got a few in foreign countries. I'm not at liberty to say which countries they are, but I can tell you that the majority, roughly 2/3 of them were recovered from the maritime environment, not on land.
Everything associated with this was the Navy. So, and in these days, you hear some of these new types of crafts that are
transmedium.
Yeah, you hear the word transmedium, and David Fravor, Commander David Fravor, with the Tic Tac, and things are under the water, and supposedly the craft that the sport model was an archaeological recovery, and that itself was underwater.
So we came up with a series of experiments, and one of them was, okay, let's put our remote viewers on submarines, take them into the depths of the ocean. We piggybacked on somebody else's experiments, Stephen Schwartz's experiments using remote viewers to go find archaeological wrecks and shipwrecks and so on, which turned out to eventually be a successful experiment.
I don't know. You tell me, Joe. You tell me.
I mean, it's boy.
Yeah, right. Let the parts fall, let those pieces fall where they do, and look at what that just So it's almost like they're reading a script, man.
Yeah.
It's either true or someone's reading a script. That's what the data says.
Yeah.
I got one more from him, by the way. So take us back in there. I'm going to show that, and then we're going to kick off into this.
We recovered.
It's going to get, deep. I just want to make sure that we understand, a little bit about who we're talking about here, right? So that's how put off. That's how put off right there. So you guys who don't know, back from the SRI days, back in the early remote viewing days, the whole thing, right? This is the guy who was at the top of that. And listen to this, Joe. I want you to hear this, because this is going to kind of go in with what may be happening today, just to let you know, if you know what he's talking about and who he's talking about here. And then this is a quiz for everybody out in the audience right now. Who's he talking about?
What's the source of this? Like I said, it's an embarrassment of riches. There's so much observation. The idea that it may be a scout coming by from some other planet and checking us out and heading off or whatever. I mean, there's much more than that. And of course, as you know from interviewing Jacques Vallée, he dug into the literature and found out, you can go back millennia and see descriptions of exactly what we're talking about today. So as far as where they come from or what they're doing here, I myself have written a paper called Ultraterrestrials.
That's original, huh? Again.
Where I try to cover the gamut. And I cover everything. Yeah, they could be spacecraft from some other galaxy whipping through here. Or maybe there's some Atlanteans left over from eons ago, and they're just kind of hiding out in the seabed. Or
what did he just say?
Hiding in the seabed.
Keep in mind, Joe, that this was almost a year ago.
Yeah, it was actually a little bit longer than a year ago.
It was May 1st.
When this was recorded.
May. Yeah, right. So think about that.
This was coming out. They released all of these in sequence. Rogan, a guy named Sean Ryan, and there was one other. It was before Jesse Mike got a hold.
Yeah, he made a big circuit when this all went down.
And it was Hal Puthoff, and it all started. The reason they all started getting Hal Puthoff was because they had Joe McMoneagle first.
That's right.
And Joe McMoneagle, when they started asking about UFOs, Joe McMoneagle said, I don't fool with UFOs. You want to talk about UFOs, go talk to Hal Puthoff.
And then they got Alexander, John B. Alexander, right?
John B. Alexander.
Yeah.
The door was open.
Speaking of which, right before we'll get to the end of this, I got a little quote from John B. that I found. I want to read to you guys.
On some mountain range someplace. Or maybe some ET group showed up here 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years ago, and they're hiding out with some bases locally and so on. And of course we have a professor by the name of Masters who thinks that, well, maybe it's time travelers from the future coming back. And then there's the whole idea, since physicists like to talk about additional dimensions, maybe they come from another. So anyway, then in my Ultraterrestrials paper, I list everyone I can think of and say, we should be exploring all of these. So at this point, I would say we know it's NHI, non-human intelligence, but it's not clear what the source is. Maybe at a higher level of classification than I had access to, maybe it's known, but right now I'd say we don't.
Do you have a suspicion?
I guess my suspicion that it's likely non-human intelligence from some other galaxy or far out in our own galaxy that have come here but some time back, and that there are stations here. One of our remote viewers that was really good came up one day and said, I was looking around and I think I found a UFO base on Earth. Oh my God, I've got to report this to my CIA contract monitor. And do I want to tell him that? And so I did, and one of the places he came up with but one of the places he came up with was Mount Zeal in Australia. And so my CIA contract monitor says, well, I know the station keeper, CIA station keeper out in Australia. I think I'll call him, and I won't tell him why I'm asking, but I'll ask him about Mount Seal area. So he gave him a call, and he said, I'd like to ask you about that Mount Seal area. He says, oh, you mean where the UFOs are always flying around?
Anybody know who that remote viewer was by any chance? Anyone at all? Anyone know who that remote viewer was? I'm betting someone knows. And it's not, no, it wasn't Ingo. It wasn't Ingo. It's in the same era. It's not McMonagle. You're close.
McDougal. you're
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Anyway, it was Price. It was Pat Price. And if anyone knows anything else about that, and I'm just gonna say, yeah, Pat Price, that's right. Yeah. And it wasn't long after that Pat was no longer with us. And that's a fact. You can look that one up. Not going to say that had anything to do with it, because causation, correlation, that whole thing, it doesn't mean anything. But what it does mean is that we heard Putoff say his CIA contact there, his contract, right?
Yeah,
he had to report that to them. Data be data. Anyway, I wanted to read this one little thing for you. By the way, I found a really cool book over the weekend. It's at the Eclectic Goods Market, by the way, down in Dunbar. Love this place. It's an unofficial plug, but I found some really good books. This is the first edition of UFOs, Myths, Conspiracies, and Realities, John B. Alexander. Yeah, it is. There's a little section right here in the beginning. I just want to go over this one little quote, because it's the truth. Who do you believe? And it's from that section. But there is a little part right here where he gives you some really good advice on the phenomena itself. Where's it at? I just had it a little bit ago. Here it is. What you need. This is what you need. The requirements for becoming a UFO researcher. Are you ready for this? First, you need a sense of humor, because you will be attacked sooner or later. Second, you need an understanding of conspiracy theories, because you are now part of the plot. Third, and finally, you need a good day job, because none of this pays and no one's really getting wealthy off of it. That part is very true, by the way. In fact, most people spend a whole lot of money trying to find some of this stuff out. And I think that's kind of how this goes. But here's what he says about the origin. I just want you to hear this. For the record, I'm convinced that there is no single concise explanation that fits all the data. Sound familiar? Whatever we're looking at, the epistemology is terribly complex. Some of the events are very real, yet may have temporal components, and they present elusive attributes that perplex even the best minds. All that is asked is that you review the material, apply common sense to your evaluations. If there is one ingredient most lacking in UFO studies, it is that: common sense. Couldn't agree more.
Oh, 100%.
Couldn't agree more.
All you got to do is look at social media these days and go into some of these UFO groups, go into some of the cryptid groups, go into some of the paranormal groups, and you can see the absolute just most ridiculous things being espouted as facts and truth. and people just run with it.
It's amazing. It's absolutely just amazing. So, Joe, this is a complex, very complex subject that we're about to get into, because it borders the conspiracy theory.
Yeah, but so it borders conspiracy theory in the sense that, like, we saw all the crazy stuff that was being said, and I'm really good at recognizing patterns. Like, it's one of the things that I've made jokes about for years, especially when we were doing the Bigfoot stuff predominantly, was that when we're teaching these classes and workshops on how to conduct research, a lot of it is just looking at the patterns.
Yes.
Looking at what's there, studying what is in front of you, and being able to recognize something that's out of place, even if it's a blade of grass that's just faintly twisted. Then applying that, finding the trackway, no pun intended, and going with it. So when it comes to UFO research, when we first got into UFO research heavily, Ron's been doing it for years. I've had an interest in it for ages. Actually, I've had an interest in the UFO topic way longer than the Bigfoot topic, but I didn't actively do any kind of research. It was just passive interest. So looking at these things and studying everything, seeing all the data and looking at it from 30,000 feet, that is one of the things that I'm really good at doing, and being able to connect the dots. So with that said, this past weekend, we showed a little bit of what I'd been working on for the last couple weeks, because we'd seen Jeremy Corbell just kind of getting really irritated, and noticed some of the other stuff going on within this whole disclosure circuit, and people who were involved becoming very irritated. But they seem to know more than everyone else. So why are they irritated? They have the information. So why are they mad? They know the things that everybody wants to know, but they're still irritated. And it's because there was this aggravation, a frustration of the flow of information to us, the general public. And that was kind of what they were worried about. Their big concern is that. But then I saw a small piece where Jeremy was going on about sleeping dogs. And then he was going on about, some other stuff. And he used a phrase called the Immaculate Deception, which is obviously a play on Immaculate Constellation. And the way, and he has a great amount of frustration with how that whole Immaculate Constellation thing spun out. But I noticed that George would get to a point where he would just do one of these. And I'm wondering why. I'm like, why, what's going on? So I started looking, found out Jeremy has a movie he's been working on for 4 years. It's on IMDb and it has no current release date. And it's called Immaculate Deception. Surprise, surprise. And that movie is about John Lear. So I thought, my brain immediately, I was like, oh, he's the guy. This is somehow John Lear is far more connected than what we thought. Well, I started looking at it, and I'm going to show you guys what I created and where it went, because it got crazy. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to bring this up. Can you guys see that okay? Are you guys able to read that? Sound off down there in the chat for me. Because I can zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead and zoom it in a little bit, Joe. There you go.
Seeing part of the part you're not supposed to see yet, but
no spoilers now.
The controls on here. So here we go.
So what are we looking at? What are we looking at?
I brought up John Lear, and I started looking into their connections, because normally when you're in the business of studying humans and finding people and knowing where they're going to be Yeah, I learned a few things. Figure out what all they're connected to. Start looking at the sources. Start looking at the connections. You're going to eventually find the one entity or two, sometimes three heads that are essentially the power brokers that control the flow or control the information. So John Lear, looked up John Lear. If you're not familiar with him, John Lear was the guy that basically got Bob in contact with George Knapp. We all know who George Knapp is. We all know who Bob Lazar is. John Lear was also very close with Jacques Vallée. And then you had John Lear is responsible not only for Bob Lazar, but he's responsible for Bill Moore and Paul Benowitz with the Majestic 12 stuff. So Bill Moore, Majestic 12 documents, Paul Benowitz. You've got, I think there was one more over here. No. And then Harry Reid. He's got Harry Reid's ear. Then under Bill Moore, you've got Richard Doty. He's connected to Richard Doty tertiarily. Now, you look at their connections. You look at what they've got. Bill Moore, really, he's just got the Majestic 12 docs and this entity, the Aviary, which we're going to get into. You're going to notice some stream here initially, right off the front gate. You've got 5 points of contact. Now, Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar's DOD, Area 51, S4, and then later the Zeta Reticuli 2. Zeta Reticuli 2 was something that was an indirect project for a lot of people, but primarily it was bankrolled by a guy named
Bigelow.
Bob Bigelow.
Yeah.
Right here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit because his grid gets a little bigger. But we're all familiar with old Bob Bigelow. The toolbars on here are really tight, so I apologize, folks. Just bear with me because they're not the best.
Well, Joe, while you're doing that, I'm going to look at our poll and read that off. If official disclosure is made, will you believe it? As of right now, there are 0 votes for yes, folks. And our little polls actually tend to show a pretty good gauge on the general public, thinking public with this stuff. So 19% said no, they won't believe it. But 81% said it depends on the source it comes from.
All right. So depending on the source it comes from, this is about as tight as we get to go. I'm going to zoom in real tight with Bob. Bob Bigelow, Bigelow Aerospace, NIDS, DOD. He's got connections to the DIA, ALSAP, obviously, NASA. He started his own super PACs, and also he's linked to the Aviary as a bankroller. Duh, because he's Bob Bigelow. That's why.
Yeah, yeah.
Then, looking directly underneath that, you've got Bob Lazar, connected to him through Zeta Reticuli 2. Now, when it comes to other connections within his network, you've got NIDS. John B. Alexander was the head of security operations for NIDS. And ALSAP. He was the main guy that he went to for any kind of security concerns. But John B. Alexander was also involved with the CIA projects. He was involved with remote viewing. He was involved in a whole lot of other esoteric stuff. Then you've got Hal Puthoff, which we just saw on the screen. Stanford Research Institute, the CIA, the NSA, the DOD, NASA, NIDS, BASS, ALSAP, ATIP, the Invisible College, the Soul Foundation, Earth Tech, and the Aviary. Then he's also connected to George Knapp. So we now have two folks that are directly connected to George Knapp. Now, Bigelow also worked with Jacques Vallée Same as John Lear. So I was thinking John Lear was more connected into this than he was. But you saw where that tree ultimately ended. It was very short. And it was more or less looking at people that there were direct connections to some of these other larger programs that are operating still in modernity. So Jacques Vallée, then Dr. Kit Green. Kit Green was the head of the science department. One of the heads. It was Kit Green. And then under Kit Green, Eric Davis worked alongside Mr. Bigelow in OSAP and NIDS. He was the chief scientist doing primarily work in theoretical physics.
Right.
You had Joe McMoneagle. This is the first time we see Joe McMoneagle's name in this list. But anytime you see Hal Puthoff's name, Joe McMoneagle's name's not going to be too far behind. Neither is going to be Dr. Colm Keller. So this is an indirect attachment. That's why I put it over here on the far side. Bigelow bankrolled Tom DeLonge and the TSSA. He didn't really have major involvement. He wasn't in the muck so much with this. He just threw a large sum of money because Tom had the metamaterials. So indirectly, Bigelow worked with Lou Elizondo. Lou Elizondo's with obviously DOD, ATIP, the TTSA. Dr. Travis Taylor. He worked in the UAP task force. He worked for currently Skinwalker Ranch TV show. He worked within NASA and Signet and Massnet. So these are all tremendously huge scientific programs within the government. And he worked for the Department of the Army as their, essentially, for layman's term, their lead rocketeer. And then underneath that, you've got Chris Mellon. Chris Mellon, Secretary of Defense, to the Stars Academy. We're familiar with his push currently. Now, when we look at all these names, we're trying to say, like, what is going on? Why are all these people in all these different groups? So I was like, okay, well, I've got Bigelow, because Bigelow, I'm trying to figure out at this point, right? Well, John Lear, got George Knapp, who are some other people connected to the Bob story, Bob Lazar, that is. And I was like, oh, Bigelow. So I started looking at Bigelow. And then I started seeing this. I was like, man, there's a lot of names popping in here that are really familiar. We've talked about them on the show, like McMoneagle and Hal Puthoff, Jacques Vallée, obviously, Kit Green. And I started seeing all these groups that they belong to, all these acronyms and all these government contracts, because the majority of these acronyms are all either government organizations or government contracts. So then I saw Hal Puthoff and I saw how many he had. And I was like, oh, there's something crazy going on there, right? Something pretty intense. And we're going to look at him in a minute because his is pretty radical. But first, we're going to go over here and we're going to zoom in to Jim Lukatsky, because again, I'm looking at George Knapp. George Knapp has these common linkages to all these people so far. And like Jim Lukatsky, he's been on Weaponized. He's been interviewed multiple times by George. He's been interviewed now on Weaponized, I think 3 times. He is a defense intelligence guy, Department of Energy guy, Department of National Defense, Department of just the regular Department of Defense. And also Lukatsky's rumored to be part of Aviary. Then we've got John B. Alexander. Holy cow, there he is again. Department of the Army, worked with Lukatsky in multiple programs that were DIA and DOD related. Harry Reid had Jim Lukatsky. They were working. He's a senator, right? And because Lukatsky is involved in DNI, he is directly attached to ATIP. Harry Reid helped get everything going with ATIP. How knows Trump says nothing. Yeah. We're going to get into some of that. So then directly again, Jay Stratton. There's another name. This is the first time he appears here. Jay Stratton appears. He is the director of ATIP. and 60 Degrees of George Knapp. Yeah, no, for real.
Yeah, really.
And George Knapp is indirectly connected to every single one of these people so far. He has interviewed them all. He has got direct communication with every one of these guys. So my perspective is suddenly beginning to change, because this is probably day 3 or 4 into this process of digging and finding and reading about their work and reading about some of these other people, stuff that we'd covered on the show previously, but now bringing to light, putting it in a physical mode and seeing it linked together. It was just,
well, it's just like those clips. You got to look at that stuff in retrospect. You got to look at those. You got to pull it out of the drawer every, couple years and see if a new piece fits into the puzzle. And that's kind of how it works. And you just kind of look at the data and let it fall where it's going to. I mean, you didn't arrange anything. These are there. This data is there for anyone to verify or look at for themselves.
Now, Lakatsky also directly worked with Hal Puthoff. He worked with Eric Davis, Dr. Eric Davis. Again, Dr. Eric Davis was with Bigelow Aerospace. Lakatsky did work directly with Lou Elizondo. Knapp has said he's told stuff via Bigelow and others, but can't divulge. Knapp, there's more than just that. That is like that's a single chocolate chip in an entire bowl of cookies. So you've got Travis Taylor working directly for Lakatsky, Dr. Gary Nolan, who is a show favorite here, that has worked directly with Lakatsky. And we know Gary Nolan's work continues with the Soul Foundation and with the Invisible College. And he's currently also working with Skywasher, who brought down this craft most likely.
Probably, yeah.
A few weeks back. Let's be realistic.
Probably. Some element of them did,
Right.
Probably.
Gary Nolan and Kit Green worked together in this project. This is the first time under Lakatsky. This is where they begin their work together, and you start seeing their work being conducted about the biologics and exposure to those things. You start seeing them working on the paper about blue shift. It gets really interesting. Then again, Colm Keller. We've got another Colm Keller, and then down here, indirectly related to all of it, SecDef, Chris Mellon. Chris Mellon is out there running Rough Shot, getting really irritated, just like the rest of them, and dropping these things out. What was that Tonight version of Joe and Ron, or the modern version of the Lone Gunman? My favorite X. So Ron, myself, and Dave for years have been wanting to recreate the Lone Gunman poster with the three of us, because that's what so many people has actually compared us to. And it's really funny that you brought that up. So
that's hilarious.
Now we're going to zoom out. Now, do you guys have any questions so far before we get into how put off?
There's a good question.
Kirkpatrick. Okay. Yeah. Kirkpatrick's going to come in here in a minute.
Stay tuned.
Kirkpatrick comes in under Lakatsky, but only in the same effect that Mellon did.
Right. It's a direct relation, basically.
Yep. Indirect relation.
Yeah,
so
indirect relation.
I left him out because he belongs on a different group here. So now, again, like I said, we're going to come back to this guy. There we go. Hal Puthoff. Also directly connected to George Knapp.
Folks, if you got questions, please put them in, and we are going to star those and bring those up.
We will.
So, and we'll actually interrupt if they're really, really, really good questions. So please do.
Enzo, that is not because I didn't try. I had to look for multiple programs, and this is the only one that would actually let me collarize them. And I collarize them. If you notice, all these collars are the same. I put everybody in the same collar nameplate. So that way, when you zoom out, you can see everybody, and you can see how many times they appear after looking at all of them individually. So we have George Knapp appearing again, like Dave was saying, the 6 degrees of George Knapp.
Yeah. Well, the data's there. You just have to look at it.
Establishment. What was that, Ron?
The data's there. You just have to look at it. I mean, that's the thing, and no one really does. That's why we keep telling you disclosures happen. It's all out there. You just got to put it together, look at it.
Keep going, Joe. It's nice to see the connections in visible form. That's why I wanted to produce this. I wanted to get you guys something to look at that you could go back as a reference point. If you want all of these individual slides, I have them saved and I can send them out. Just type your email into the chat at the end of the show and we'll get you the emails, or just email Wild and Weird and I can get those out to you. So that way you can actually have them in hand.
Yeah, and be sure to stay tuned because we're going to do that drawing at the end.
Yes,
for one of our new tags, and then you can go out and spread the good word of
where's Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith fit into this.
Makes me wonder.
Well, you're going to find out in a minute. You will find out in a minute.
We have a Hollywood link. Is that what you're telling me?
There's a Hollywood link when you go back to Bigelow, and then all of a sudden you've got Bigelow connected to
Yep.
Mr. Spielberg.
Yep. Jacques Vallée, Spielberg. Right.
Yep.
Right.
So
go ahead
and
carry on.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So Hal Puthoff again, SRI, the Stanford Research Institute. That's what he's most known for. He's also owns a company called Earth Tech that he runs with Dr. Eric Davis to this day. He and Eric Davis are the CEO and president of this company.
You may want to remind people that Earth Tech's one of their primary mission statements was to make contact, improve contact.
It very much was. So Vallée, directly connected. He's not a member like in a official capacity with Earth Tech, but Vallée works with them in that. He also works with them with Hal Puthoff at the Soul Foundation. Gary Nolan runs the Soul Foundation, just so you guys are in the loop. And the Soul Foundation's home is at Stanford. Where was SRI founded? Stanford.
Fascinating, huh?
Coincidence. Has to be.
I'm sure it's completely a coincidence, Joe.
Right.
This is all a coincidence. Everything that you've showed us so far is completely a coincidence.
Yeah.
Nothing
Green,
strange.
SRI, Gary Nolan, Soul at Stanford. Then we've got Robert Monroe, SRI, NIDS, the Monroe Institute, directly connected to Joe McMoneagle. He and John B. Alexander through the Monroe Institute, and their efforts to teach people how to remote view and become the best remote viewers in the world.
Yeah.
And their goal is to help humanity and to help you be a better person through being able to realize the full potential of what you're capable of.
Right.
Then we get in over here. We've got Hal Puthoff directly linked to Lou Elizondo through ATIP, because Hal Puthoff was directly related. He was in the ATIP program. Hal Puthoff has been in so many of these government spin-outs. He's these government contracts, direct government connections through the CIA, the NSA, and then all these side projects.
Here's a little something for you, Joe.
Institute for Advanced Studies at Austin. Yeah.
Well, that's Earth Tech.
It is.
And that's what they became anyway. But here's their primary. Where's the mission statement? It's right here, I think. Yeah, this is it. Here you go.
All right, let me go back to making this the full screen. So about us, the Institute for Advanced Studies at Austin was founded in 1985 by Harold Puthoff, PhD, and later incorporated under Earth Tech International Incorporated in 1991 as an innovative research facility with high-powered creative staff dedicated to exploring the forefront reaches of science and engineering. Our research interests include theories of space-time, gravity, cosmology, studies of the quantum vacuum, modifications of standard theories of electrodynamics, interstellar flight science, and the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, specifically as these topics may apply to developing innovative space propulsion and sources of energy. We strive to translate these ideas into laboratory experiments.
Thank you.
So that's Earth Tech. Now, it gets squirrely. I'm losing control of my mouse.
It's the government. The government. They've activated the mouse control
right? They've
system.
activated the protocol.
Probably with 5G. Sorry, had to.
And again, indirectly connected with Chris Mellon. Now he's done some stuff with Chris Mellon, just like in presentations and whatnot, but mostly you see a uniform character across all of these people so far. Now I'm going to zoom us out. And I left these down here on the bottom. They're all single collar for a reason, because I didn't want that to muddy the waters. Okay. I want you guys to be able to see the full scope there.
Yep.
I'm going to zoom out or see if I can. Does that make the screen bigger for you guys?
Not really, no. I mean, it made your screen bigger, but it made them smaller. But
that's fine. The smaller is what I'm.
We can see everything, though. We can see all the.
Yeah, that's the aim.
Boxes. Yeah, we can definitely see all the boxes.
Okay. So, you can see all the boxes. George Knapp's the red one.
Okay. So every time we see red, that's George.
Is the OD green.
Okay.
You've got the people who are in the dark blue and the light blue. They really don't appear often, so I left them as light blue.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got gold. Travis Taylor, he's on here twice.
Yeah.
Dr. Kit Green is baby puke green. So he's on here across the board. You've got Lou Elizondo,
orange,
attached to the three big players. Not so much John Lear, but the three big players.
Yeah, three big players.
Because again, I started this out thinking that John Lear was going to be one of the big dogs, but he's really not. He's maybe one of the most enigmatic,
right?
But
he collected a lot of stories and believed a lot of stuff.
He did. He collected a lot of stories. He's the reason we have access to some of these stories.
Right.
Because why do we have access to them? Not because John Lear leaked them, because somebody brought him to John Lear, and then John Lear gave him to the red guy, George Knapp.
Right.
George Knapp shoveled him out. Said, "Here you go."
Yeah.
Now, down here we've got George Knapp, Bob Lazar, Jeremy Corbell. So you would think if you're going to directly connect everybody, that's going to be it. But there's a reason that I left him out here by himself. George Knapp is most likely the single most point across all of these that is directly connected, not with just the person at the top of the chart, but with everybody within the chart, directly connected to them, because they've come to him with their stories. They've come to him with information. Many of them come to him with records and file folders full of documents that will not be seen by human eyes, but except for George and Jeremy Corbell.
There's a valuable question. Can we be on the chart? We need our own chart weirdos. My owls demand to be on the chart as our overlords. Where is the whippoorwill? Well, this is a very good question.
What?
And I swear to you, that is not some kind of weird code, but it sounds like one.
Wild and weird is the whippoorwill.
That's the whippoorwill? Okay.
That's the whippoorwill. We are the whippoorwill. So I'm going to go ahead, since we're talking about birds.
You're going to talk about it, aren't you? Just want to make a disclaimer really quick. We are not UFO scientists.
We are not UFO
put that out there. Nope. Sure not.
And we're going to put us over here.
Uh-oh.
It's official.
We are now the whippoorwills. Everyone.
How high up in the hierarchy do the whippoorwills go?
Hey, that's going to be our new name. Instead of calling them weirdos, we can call them the whippoorwills.
No, we're not doing that. No. We'll let them. We'll put that to a vote. If they want to be called whippoorwills, they can. But
All right. So there was that overwhelming group affiliation up top.
Yes.
So you got the Aviary. How put off?
Hey, Joe, it's the top of the hour. Why don't you remind people what the heck's going on who just came in
yeah.
here?
That's a good call. So this is Wild and Weird Radio, folks. Right up above me is Ron. I'm Joe. We've been putting together a long drawn out string. You can go back and rewind to catch up on all of this conspiracy string if you want. And what I'm going over currently are the most powerful people in the UFO disclosure movement. And quite possibly some of the most powerful people in the world, not just in the disclosure movement, but consequentially, some of the most powerful in the world.
Well, Carly brought up a really good point. And what's really neat about this, guys, is once we do release this, you guys can do just that. You can actually pull it up and make as much sense as you want, feed it into AI algorithms, look for patterns. And I mean, you can do anything with this data once it's out there.
Yep. Absolutely. So, the Aviary.
All right, explain.
Every one of these people, with the exception of maybe 3 or 4, were located up in the top portion of these lists. The Aviary is a group much akin to the Collins Elite. They're a clandestine group of individuals within the government that control the ebbs and flow of information and power. Only these guys were legitimately real, and they passed notes around, and the notes that they were passing were being passed in code, and they used a bird as their moniker. Okay.
So what's all the cloak and dagger stuff for? Why do this? I mean, I'm straight up asking the question. Like,
why do this? So that way it's code, right?
Yeah.
It's the most fundamental way to code things, and it could be said out loud in a public forum. I found this note from the Penguin. And you get a lot of people who are going to laugh and be like, from the Penguin? Are you talking about from Batman?
Right.
People in the back of the crowd will say, hey, go ahead and read that.
Gotcha. Well, Batman wouldn't be joking about that.
Right. Batman wouldn't be joking about it, but the Penguin, John B. Alexander. He is the Penguin. Jacques Vallée is the Partridge. Ron Pandolfi, CIA, Pelican. Commander C.B. Scott Jones, Chickadee. U.S. Navy, the DIA, the DNIA, the DOE, DARPA, INSCOM. He's the Chickadee. Ron was the deputy director of the Division of Science and Technology for the CIA. You've got General Neil McCaskland. That name should sound familiar. We're going to get into that momentarily. You've got Captain Bob Collins, U.S. Air Force. It's the Air Force Scientific Group. It's the Condor. If you put it behind a high paywall, Greer will suddenly be in on it with you. I know, right? 100%.
Oh, by the way, does he fit in on this little thing?
Greer doesn't fit
at all anywhere. I didn't think he did. I just wanted to make sure.
That is another thing. I'm glad you brought that up because I almost forgot. I definitely wanted to bring that up at the end here. But Greer doesn't fit anywhere on here. Not a single one of these contacts truly had any connection to him that I could find other than him reportedly over and over and over spam boxing Harry Reid and other members of Congress to try to brief them.
Okay. So even back in the early disclosure days, like when he was really doing legit work, like he really didn't.
So when he was doing really legit work back in the day and he was doing the press briefings, he had obviously contact because those were kind of like conferences, you know?
Yeah.
So he had contact and communication with these guys. And
but
I'm
it's all
sure
indirect
in the early days.
Yeah.
There were some of these guys that were taking him seriously, but then he went off into, Greerland and lost everybody.
So you're saying they basically just cut him loose and that bird flew the coop.
Yep. Shed some feathers here and there.
Gotcha.
So to speak.
Yeah. Got it.
Bob Bigelow was also a member of the Aviary, though he was never given a bird name, but he was a money man.
He's probably the
right
cage,
there along
man.
with Lawrence Rockefeller.
He's the cage.
Yeah, right. It might as well have been.
He's the cage.
And Lawrence Rockefeller, of the famous Rockefeller family, between Bigelow and Rockefeller, they were the bankrollers. And then you had Harry Reid, who also got them some government funding. But for the most part, it was Bigelow and Rockefeller. Don't mention Greer's name, CE5 times or you got to spin in the circle and look in a mirror, right? Close your eyes, look in the mirror.
He'll appear, right?
The golden ones will appear, and then he'll just.
Okay. All right. That's great.
So you had Kit Green, the Blue Jay. Bruce Maccabee, PhD, research science in optical physics and laser weapons applications at the U.S. Naval Surface Weapons Lab. He's the Seagull. Colm Keller, another guy from up top.
Bruce was actually in this?
Yes, Bruce was the Seagull.
Wow, he passed not that long ago.
He did, that's right.
Yeah.
Colm Keller was in the aviary as well. I couldn't find his name. His bird moniker, because there was like 3 or 4 that were attached to him. There was like Sparrow and a few other that were attached to him, but they never found out which one he exactly is, because Bill Moore and Colm Keller both shared the name Sparrow, but Bill Moore was the one more closely related with the name Sparrow. Bill Moore, Majestic 12 documents. Jamie Shendera, the Woodpecker. Also, he's a filmmaker, and he's linked to the Majestic 12 documents with John Lear.
So basically, you're telling me all those things we watched in the 90s, Live from Area 51, Alien Autopsy, all that press stuff literally originated in this web somewhere.
Yeah, it 100% did. Ernie Keller Strauss, he worked in Wright Pat Air Force Base. Wright Pat's also connected with General McCaslin.
Right.
He was a top secret security clearance. He was a famous disinformationist, along with Bill Moore, along with Jamie Shendera. He was the Hawk. So why do you ask? Ask yourself this. Look above him, Richard Doty, U.S. Air Force, disinformationist, the Falcon. Harry Reid, former Raven. Henry Kissinger, former Raven. We don't know who the Raven is currently. He's sitting in the roost. Jack Verona, executive branch liaison for Los Alamos for the Sleeping Beauty Project. Sleeping Beauty Project was all about trying to do mind control, folks. General McCaslin, Wright Pat, Los Alamos. Put them together. You can connect the dots here. You can draw the red strings. Then we get over here to Hal Puthoff. Hal Puthoff is the owl. I don't think there's any coincidence in that name being used. Everyone here knows the name owl, or what the bird represents in the UFO and paranormal community. It also has the wise old owl moniker attached to it, right? Hal Puthoff, if you look at this list, Hal Puthoff does have the longest trail behind his name.
Folks, get your votes in. Is there a pattern here, or is this all just a weird coincidence? Your answers are yes, no, or I don't know nothing about nothing.
Oh, man. Now, Eggleston is great. Bigelow is McDuck.
McDuck.
Scrooge McDuck.
That's true. Scrooge McDuck. That would work
that's
really well.
Perfect.
Actually. Yeah, it would. I could actually see Scrooge McDuck as Bob Bigelow.
Now, we've covered a heck of a lot of information, and I've tried to do it in as concise amount of time because I want to have the conversation before we move into the most current stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's very important information, and I want to share with you guys a conclusion that I've come to. And again, this is just my conclusion. It's what I think it is. we can look at this in a minute, but I want you guys to look at this. What do you think so far? What are you seeing? Share some of your ideas here.
All right, we need also remember, get your questions in. We still have over 50 some people out there watching, so chime on in. Join the conversation. I mean, your theory is just as good as anyone else's as far as it goes at this point. So,
and this has been 3 weeks in the making to get to this point, to get this all put and consolidated in an area. And I want to really do want to know what you guys think. Where are your thoughts at? I know this is a ton of information. This is so info heavy. It's hard to digest. Again, this is 3 weeks crammed into a 45-minute run so far. Bigelow sort of retired after his wife died. He thinks Skinwalker entity did it. Bigelow hasn't retired in the slightest. He's still operating very heavily in the background. He just stopped being actively engaged in the projects from a personal standpoint, but he is very much bankrolling several of these groups right now. He has direct connections to so many things. He formed right now, one of the S PACs, the super PACs he was with, was about disclosure stuff and electing people that were pushing for the release of information. Matthew Bradley, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Let's predict who gets whacked next. We're going to look at some of that. Yes, he did stop his NASA projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Octopus's daughter had a sighting. And I want you to send that into Wild and Weird so that way we can chart it out too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know I've got it on Messenger, but send it to wildandweirdwv@gmail.com. She's almost 7.
We've actually got the let me pull it up. I'll get you the link for anyone else that wants it as well. That way you can report your sighting. And if you have anything, we can also sometimes pull them up here and take a look at it as a group and let people see that. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. That way you've got it. Go ahead and just.
Chris says, which one of them could possibly break the dam and let the truth out?
Well,
I'm going to go back into this whole aviary thing because that's I think where the answer to this question is. Iski says the question is, where is Dave? Is that what you're saying? Oh, no. Yeah. That is the question, Dave. So what Dave said something. Okay, right here. Now the question is, who are the self-promoters and who are the disinformation agents and who actually knows what the heck's going on?
Thank you.
That's exactly where we're going right now.
Thank you. Because that's literally what this was all about. It's the chess masters. It's the ones who are playing the game, making the moves.
So we don't have to reference up to the above because every one of these players are right here in this aviary list, coincidentally. We have George Knapp. George Knapp is definitely a powerhouse in this because all of these people, including all the folks above, are all connected to him and he has information from every single one of them. I tried seeing if
this is a good question.
Do you think the people on this chart want to?
Do you think the people on this chart want true disclosure? That is.
We're going to get to that in this description. So
I'm going to star all your questions, guys. Please keep them coming. I'm starring them up right now. That way we can get to them
here now. So George Knapp, yes, I think wants disclosure. Jacques Vallée laid out a trail of breadcrumbs. Ron,
I think that you've also got Jacques having that experience.
Yes,
and that changed an experience. That changed him in a way, I think, and that may have been by design, by whatever this is as well. The other player, the unseen hand.
Yeah, John B. Alexander, I think, has told us everything he meant to tell us.
whatever
I
that
don't think there are
means.
too many secrets left on the table from John. And people can make of that information is just like us. Throw out the data. You can look at it, see what you want. Scott Jones, I'm not sure. I'm going to say no.
Whoops. I meant to start that. Hang on.
Then we've got, let's see. Maccabee's passed away. I'm not sure really where he's set. He was big in the UFO circles. Colm Keller, again, don't know where he really sets with it. Kit Green, I think, has had the ideas. I mean, he was working with Nolan. They had differences, but still worked together.
I cannot recall what Bruce's final stance was on that before he went, because we actually had a conversation about that at one point. And this was during right after the whole, the Tic Tac things were all, all over the news, and it was everywhere. But he was posting on some boards, and we talked a little bit, but it wasn't mostly about UFOs. It was about music. He was a musician. So
you've got Henry Kissinger passed away. Harry Reid's passed away. I think Harry Reid wanted disclosure. He wanted the information out there. Kissinger wanted to control it.
Yeah.
Bigelow wants the answers out there. But then you have this list here. And this is where it gets creative, okay? Because if you want my honest opinion, Hal Puthoff, the owl, is at the head of the table. I really do feel that he is at the head of the table when it comes to this.
Mm-hmm.
Just based off his involvement in so many other things. Hal comes out and says all kinds of stuff, right? And the minute things might go too far, all you need is Richard Doty to go out and do an interview, say the same things. Suddenly, the entire community turns on that information. It says, Richard Doty's supporting. It can't be real. Richard Doty is responsible for driving a man to, self-eliminate. Richard Doty's done this. He's a terrible person, disinformation artist, blah, 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 blah. He's siding with, he's saying this now, and then suddenly you don't hear Hal Puthoff talking about it that anymore. Something's too far. I think that some of these guys, it's like an ebb and flow. They'll say and release some stuff, and if they think that the society, because Hal was part of that group at NASA, that deemed what we were able to handle as civilization, what we couldn't.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. He definitely was.
Yeah,
he
and
actually
this is a real time playing out, literally.
Yeah, he actually.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he actually made the point to talk about that on that particular Rogan show. I'll get you the link to that. That way you guys can go and check that out, because it was really a good one. It was from last year. And he actually talks about that, how he basically was called in, and they were going to talk about this. He assumed that disclosure was about to happen. And then they sit around and discussed it, and they determined, no, it's probably not a good idea to release it at this time. So that's, we've talked about that before, but he actually talks about it on there. So you may find that interesting.
So with that ebb and flow, you can roll that information out when things get too far, like, oh, people's feet got too wet. They got uncomfortable. Hey, Doty, go out there and do your thing. And then the tide rolls back a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it rushes again. And then you can run another disinformation artist out there. They're all working together, as it seems. Who writes the paychecks for all of these people, and who do they ultimately answer to? It depends on what they're doing for the day as to who's writing their paycheck. Every single one of these guys is on the government payroll except for George Knapp.
Mm-hmm.
Literally every single one of them. But you have certain things, certain projects and programs and shared collectives like this Aviary that are bankrolled by Bigelow. And I don't think necessarily that they're being paid from this aviary project as much as their interests are being covered financially by this, by Bigelow and Rockefeller. Then let's see. Carla says Knapp was the OG in this area and brought out all this on his newscast. That's exactly right. That's why he's connected to literally everybody across the top and here in the aviary. George Knapp is rumored to be in the modern aviary because the aviary has been a thing since 1970, 69, 70. As soon as the Majestic 12 kind of got lost in the mix, so to speak. And I'd have a very strong feeling that this might be the modern iteration. Now there's some other speculation that Majestic 12 moved on to become the SGG. But you'll have to look at some other documents for that. That's a different story for a different day. Then let's see. George Knapp is a powerhouse or a pawn. He's the powerhouse. Look at who went and the way he sat in front of all the Congress and how he, like, when they asked him, who can we talk to? And the whole room sat quiet. And then he leaned forward and just gave up people in the U.S. government that had not been mentioned in previous years in any form or fashion. And he just said, yeah, you need to look into this guy. And he gave him up because he has that kind of power. It's the only way you can get away with that. He didn't have amnesty. Nobody in those rooms did. Not true amnesty. And he just rolled on a guy and said, here's the names. that speaks volumes. Then let's see who else we got. Skinner. We must not assume that everyone in the chart has the whole picture, all the facts. That's true. There's only two, I think, that have the whole picture in this chart, and that's George Knapp and Hal Puthoff. Everybody else, I think, has fractions, but I do quite confidently believe that George Knapp has probably 98, 99%, if not all of it, and Hal Puthoff is in the same boat. Just because look at his resume. Look at all his affiliations. Look at how long he's been able to do what he's been doing and not have to spend a penny on it himself.
And not really be blocked.
Oh, yeah. Nobody's blocked him. Not a soul from the government has tried to put a foot down on him.
Mm-hmm.
That's why his resume is so long.
Yeah.
Then let's see. Iski, but Hal won't open the pod bay doors, right? Soon. Wonder what happened with Tom DeLonge. So when he got his money, and it was alleged it was only a $35,000 transfer purchase for that metamaterial to the intergovernmental military agency that possessed it to go work in it with within the Department of the Army. It was under a third-party contract. That way they couldn't FOIA anything for it.
That's also in that episode.
And then he just slinked and stepped away. And he walked away from it and said, all right, my part in this is done, because it was all part of the contract. Now, Tom DeLonge's gone around. He talks a lot. He still talks a lot. He's still extremely interested. He's still doing his own research, but none of it's really getting published. None of it's really coming out there. It's really frustrating because I'd like to see him doing more just because of his level of interest. Like it seemed like it was actually something that brought him joy to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Eggleston, 8218. I thought the aviary was set up in the 40s and early 50s. The earliest mentions that I can find of the aviary was the 70. There was a mention of a clandestine group that was like in the 60s, like 68, 69. But like I personally assumed that was Majestic 12 or whatever that iteration of the Majestic 12 was in 68 and 69. The aviary's first mentions of actually like somebody finding notes with the bird monikers was in the 70s. So that's at least that's all I've been able to turn up anyway. That I could like I don't like to share solid information like that unless I can like grab it and say yes for sure. And those were the earliest dates that I could find mentions of this in any kind of formal way, so to speak.
Let's see what else we have there. Oh yeah, Tristan.
I was trying to hang until the end, but 4:30 comes early. Hey, good night, Trista. You can always go back and watch. Remember,
Yep,
you're at 1 hour
absolutely.
35 marker right now. Swing back and catch up. Then back in the 80s, there were scripted show with Mike Farrell talking explicitly about the Aviary in a roundabout way. Does anyone remember this?
Yep, sure do. It was UFO Cover Up Live, and I have you a clip right here for it. That was one of those episodes we were talking about, like how all these people had these connections, and yeah, I mean, it's crazy how it was all kind of linked. They've kind of,
all these characters are like pawns.
Yes.
Chess pieces.
Yes.
They all have their own roles and ways to move on the board, but none of them are really in charge of the others. That's right. No,
Yes.
exactly right.
Thus the chessboard image that I created. Exactly. And yes, that's real 3D, by the way. That's not AI. Just want to clarify. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this poll. And our poll stops at, is there an actual pattern to this? Or is this all just coincidence? 72% overwhelming vote for yes, there is a pattern here. 0 for no. That's pretty telling. And 3 just said, I don't know nothing about nothing. And they're honest about that.
Now, we were asking earlier where Kirkpatrick falls into this mess. Kirkpatrick is a useful idiot, in my opinion. He's seen a lot of stuff, but he's being told what to say, and he's playing the role of the ultimate skeptic.
Yeah.
Now, he could be falling into the category of, either the hawk or sparrow or woodpecker.
Yeah.
A modern day. But he's even in private settings, I would have to, you'd almost have to believe that even in a private setting, he was still playing a role, even though he wasn't supposed to be playing the role. Because I've not heard anything from anyone who's been around the guy that's been, I guess, confirmatory of any kind of actual submissions that were made to Arrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel that he was playing the role that he was told to play, to go out there and resolve, just as it's in the name, and eliminate a lot of these testimonies and get them out of the way.
Yeah. Well, the wonderful thing about the useful idiot role, Joe, is that the public and, the journalists and all these other folks who rush out and just kind of throw stuff on the table and say, this is the truth, this is it, they're not getting paid anything, but they're doing the job that a disinformation specialist would be doing. They're doing it for them free of charge. So you think they're not going to just let that go? I mean, that's great, right? I mean, if somebody wants to do that, do your job for you. I mean, there was a great example this week. Actually, the past, was it a day or so? There was a article in, I think it was The Guardian, and that came out. And basically, I'm not going to, read the article as far as it goes, but I do want you to see what it was about, because it kind of falls into this, the useful idiot role, that is, because you've still got this happening. You still got these people who are convinced that they are the way, they know the truth. They're going to find it, right? Because no one else knows it. It's exclusive. They can figure it out. No, you can't. That's the whole point. This is so deep that you're not going to figure it out. But this guy, he really believed he was going to do it. So here's his great article, by the way. You can go and read it. The Pentagon
released its UFO videos. So I went to the US to chase aliens, and this is what I found.
Right. So you think you're going to get to come over basically and talk to all these people, and you're going, which he does. He talks to some people, and then some people don't talk back to him. So basically it's information bias. This is pretty much what it all came out to. But he ends up, writing this hit piece that literally right off the very first, sentence, He literally states right here, I never gave much thought to aliens beyond Star Wars. I put it all of that into their flying saucers in a box marked nonsense. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know, because he pretty much just goes the same route as a lot of these did. I'm bringing it up because Kirkpatrick did something very similar to this, as you recall, about, what was it, a year or so ago, wasn't it? About 2 years ago now, I think it was.
I think so.
Yeah, something like that. But either way, when they do these things, are they acting on their own, or are they just being used by folks who are like, yes, keep typing? You know, that's the question.
So when looking at this, you're able to clearly see that there are people who do set in the roles of a power. It's not necessarily a very organized structure until you get into organizations like the actual federal government. Everything else seems to be this loosely structured gaggle. You know, like they all know what they're doing. They're all doing their own parts and they're working together, but there's not any kind of true formality to it, right? They run in these circles. They run all around the country and all over the world in these same circles with these groups together with one another. They show up on shows together. They show up in groups and in meetings and at Contact in the Desert, and they show up at other mass gatherings, mostly all together.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of eyebrows raise up. Now, are there direct connections from these people to the Department of Energy? I think their involvement, yes, their direct connections to the Department of Energy go up top. You've got Hal Putoff did some side stuff with the DOE, but he was never truly contracted by them. But James Jim Lakatsky, he has one of the highest clearances you can possibly get in the U.S. government and works directly with the Department of Energy. And through that, subsequently works with all these other guys. Travis Taylor worked a little bit with the Department of Energy as well, doing his rocket stuff. It was a different capacity, not necessarily the focusing and harnessing of energy, but just the expenditure and how to utilize some of those energies in rockets, so to speak. So there are a couple points of contact with the Department of Energy throughout this list. Now, we've covered the Aviary. We've covered some of this stuff. And there's this guy. And this is where we're going next. General William Neil McCaslin. Currently, we have 12. It's up to 12 now. 12 today. Scientists who have passed. Because
or
it was
disappeared.
I've not been able to reference or check the guy that was discovered yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I have not been able to chart him. I haven't been able to see any connections. However, through the other 11, upon reviewing their work and what they've done, their affiliations and connections, I've only been able to track these guys and connect them together. Sorry, I'll bring it right back. I just enlarged it a bit. Missing people. Currently, General Neil McCaslin, to the Stars Academy, Project Mondaloy, Wright Pat Airfield, Los Alamos. Monica Reza, directly connected to General McCaslin, Hal Putoff, Edgar Mitchell, Bob Bigelow, Project Mondaloy, Wright Pat Air Force Base, Los Alamos. Melissa Cassius, Los Alamos, directly worked with General McCaslin. Anthony Chavez, Los Alamos, directly worked with General McCaslin. Stephen Garcia, Los Alamos, Kirtland Air Force Base, General McCaslin. Now, to be fair, Garcia did not work at Los Alamos, but the operation that he was a part of, the projects that he was working on at Kirtland, had to do with nuclear power. And all of the information and all the data that was collected was sent and stored and operated with or operated upon at Los Alamos. Now, he did have direct work with McCaslin. Okay. I didn't miss the projects his wife worked on. I left him out on purpose because, she's not missing. I do have those on a list. It's just not imperative to this specific.
You're trying to stay on the actual track of where the data is, not
Yes.
where you want the data to go. That's what you're saying, right?
Right. This is not speculation.
Yeah, this is provable.
None of this tonight, none of the charts are speculatory. That's why we say we're kind of on the edge of conspiracy.
Yeah.
This is all chartable data. This is all physical data points that you yourself can find, piece together, consolidate,
And then do with it however you like. It doesn't matter if you believe it. That's irrelevant.
Correct. These people are all listed as missing, not found murdered.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're missing. These are truly missing people. They could be.
We don't know.
They might be checked out of the Great Book, but they're.
They may be somewhere working on something, right? I mean, we don't know.
Well, essentially, and again, this is my theory.
Yeah.
And for entertainment value only.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of these, legally stuff.
Yeah.
I think the other 6, possibly 7 names now could be red herrings thrown into the mix to skirt the fact that these 5 were all connected, all worked together at the same times, directly related to projects together, and they're all missing.
Godot, I think what he's saying is she's not missing, that we're only focusing on the ones that are missing for this this tree at this point.
Yeah, I absolutely can't ignore it. That's my prerogative to do so. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but this is specifically for this project. His wife, if his wife is doing anything right now, she's playing a role as a trying to hide information, if anything.
Well, there's a possibility she doesn't know a lot.
Right, because they can very well
work on different
compartmentalize
things.
stuff,
They could have
but
worked on completely different projects, right? And you don't talk about that.
they compartment. They have their own top secret stuff, and if you do share some information between each other, you can go to prison for that crap. That's just the reality of it. But she's not missing. She's not dead. Therefore, she's not here. So, that's why she's not there.
And let's hope she doesn't end up there.
Right. Yeah. My hope is that she doesn't. Like, it'd be fantastic. That'd be the best thing ever. The best thing ever would be these guys turn up and have a story. So, again, not trying to be one way or the other. This is a data trail that anyone can follow. And, her connection being married to Neil McCaslin is what it is. But it's they might have worked together on certain things where their clearances allowed them to, but she's not missing. She's not dead. She's, if anything, providing a cover. If she's involved, that's another speculation. Right. And I'm trying to be as respectful as I can to her by not including her in this, because it's a big if she truly has no idea what's going on, where she went or where her husband went, I'm not going to try to point any fingers at her because it's undeserving. But it's very possible that this could be a Mill Labs project, which is military abduction. This is something that goes on across the entire planet. Every world government has done this to some degree. in various realms, various places. They can go do essentially these clandestine operations where they will abduct scientists who were, say, expatriated from their country, gone to another country, say France, Turkey, wherever, and then go retrieve their scientists and kidnap them, make it look like there was something that happened, and then vanish them. There's a lot of things that can take place within that aspect. Again, very speculative that it would be mill labs. Could it be something else similar?
Right.
Could it be because they all worked together? So somebody, if these guys are all missing and they were all abducted for the same purpose, they were abducted in phase.
Yeah, which is crazy.
To make it look like some kind of coincidence, but then you have to throw in the murders.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
And could the murders been associated? Could the murders have happened to throw people off the trail to think that, this is all just coincidence?
And I mean, you're really talking about some X-Files stuff here. That's
it really is
100%.
About.
It's really that deep and that insane. And, at this point, I'm keeping an open mind with it, but we have to follow just the data at this point. And those are the connections.
Yeah.
Now, what does it mean? That's for darn near anyone to figure out. But what I can tell you is there's a whole lot of speculation going on over in internet land right now.
There really is. And you're seeing links even with the most recent famous person, the tragic passing of Wilcock. I wasn't a fan of that guy in the slightest.
No.
No serious researchers that we knew were, but it's never, the loss of life is never something to joke or celebrate. It
doesn't matter. Yeah.
And there are people, sharing a post saying that he wasn't thinking of taking his own life or anything like that. But that post was 4 years old. It was from 2022. Anybody who's ever dealt with anybody that has depression knows that a hell of a lot can change in 4 years. I have been surrounded by friends and brothers, not by blood, that have taken their own lives. Some of them you could read and see it coming. Others, it's like Robin Williams.
It's silent, man. That's what I was going to say. It's like, look at Robin.
The guy that's the light in the room, the guy that's the life of the party. And then they extinguish their own candle.
Yeah, if anyone who's gone that route, it's definitely not something, you think, oh, you could have stopped it or there should have been signs. Sometimes there's not signs, that's just not going to happen because people are good at acting, man.
And there's a lot of people trying to lump him in saying that he was mind controlled.
Well, I think we're all mind controlled to a degree, right? And I don't mean that in some, I don't mean that in some conspiratorial way. I'm talking about literally, there's a great example. I mean, I've had so many people who have actually contacted me and said, oh, look, there's another one. There's another, and there's another. It's what?
Yeah.
No, just follow the data, guys. Just follow the data. There's something really happening here, but you're missing it because you're focusing on all this other stuff.
Now, Oz says, going back to the missing people here, I'm sick of accepting this behavior by our government as normal. I can't say that it's our government.
Not yet.
There are connections for all of these people, obviously, through it, but we don't know for a fact that we are the ones that snagged them.
Yep.
It could be a number of global agencies that did it. It could be clandestine groups that operate of their own agenda. For all we know, McCaslin could have organized it himself, and all of these folks were willing to do it.
Who knows, man? That's
they
the
might,
whole point.
Looking at this through rose-colored glasses, murders aside.
Right. But I think what you're looking at, Joe, is that no one knows. And it's not wrong to ask the questions, but it is wrong to manipulate data. Knowingly.
Yeah.
Because of personal bias.
It's saying it's stupid that many top scientists will not go into these or give up. They have loved ones. Man, I know a lot of people that did crazy things like jump on grenades because they had loved ones.
It's hard to tell. I mean, we really can't put ourselves in those people's places.
Yeah.
What they know, because frankly, I don't know what they know. And we may think we know what they know, but we do not know all of what they know. We don't know what they've seen. We don't know the literal horrors that they've seen at this point.
We don't. We can't imagine like it. I don't want to think.
No, I don't. No.
The worst here.
No.
I can't help it. It's there. The thought is there. You know, you can't ignore it.
Yeah.
But these folks are missing. Are they missing because they've been hijacked to go work on some kind of secret program?
Right.
And they've mixed in and muddied the waters with these murders over the last 4 years?
I don't know.
To make it look like coincidence, to make it look like, oh, they've probably checked out, so there's no point in looking for them because they're just like the other 7 on the list.
He's talking about talking about willfully going into a hiding.
Oh, yeah,
forever.
no, I think they. Yeah, I don't think they'd go into hiding forever. No, I agree 100% with that. I think that they would. I really don't think they would do it forever. I mean, there have been some people that made arrangements though, like with witness protection and stuff that have done some pretty crazy things. But
yeah,
again, it's hard. It's hard to think that these guys would do something of that nature and be gone, like reassignment, erased, and recreated in some other social security number, so to speak.
Right. It's a big deal, you know, and more so today. David says, we also don't know the side effects of working on these technologies, whether extraterrestrial, ultraterrestrial, or terrestrial. No, you're not wrong.
Well, we don't. Gary Nolan does.
Some of those guys do. I mean,
Gary Nolan, Kit Green, and it was Gary Nolan, Kit Green.
Those are the 2 primaries.
They were the 2 primaries. John B. Alexander knew some stuff.
Yeah. But these guys actually had the
tertiary
science.
though.
Yeah.
Gary Nolan and Kit Green worked on it hand in hand.
And then Green pretty much just denied everything later.
Yeah, Green got to the point where he just set it all on fire and walked away.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. There's something, Jen, something big is going to happen, and all these people are involved in it. It could be that.
Could be. I don't know what it is, but I do know this. As of 0 hour, which is what we are at right now, as far as it goes with actual disclosure, big D disclosure, official thing, right? I don't see a play like this being made right now, but that's not what you're seeing. You're seeing evidence that these things have been taking place over a period of time.
Yeah.
Before, where it would look perfectly natural. No one's looking. No one's, going to figure this out. But the thing is, and this should be more concerning, is that the cover up is breaking, you see, or we wouldn't be getting these lists. We wouldn't be seeing that because someone at a higher level is putting 2 and 2 together now. It's not just a bunch of, people with red yarn on a conspiracy board. These guys are actually looking because someone told them where to look.
Yeah. And
I think you're going to find that out very soon. You might find it out before you get to see all these alleged videos of the, UFOs and UAPs that are about to be released. Because we can't talk about one without the other at this point, I'm afraid. These programs are related. And that's probably where it's going to come from. You're not wrong, Joe. This is where the source will come from. That's, if you want to bet, that's where it's going to come from.
So, Jeremy, Corbell.
There you go.
George Knapp, if y'all are watching, which I doubt you are.
Never. Not in a million years.
Throw us a bone. Give us something. Are we looking in the right direction? Are we seeing things right? Come on. We're calling you, George. Help us out.
I mean, technically he couldn't. So there's that.
As long as we don't talk about it, we're okay.
No, I'm not going to talk about it. I don't know nothing. Actually, we don't know anything more than, what's already out there. So, again, all of that is it's there. All you have to do is go look, follow the data. Don't get sidetracked. Don't go off the road and make your own tracks. Don't go off-roading. Stay on the road. Follow the actual lines, and you'll figure this out. You'll see that there is some stuff going on.
So Dave says, I don't understand the logic of eliminating a bunch of retired researchers when other governmental folks are starting disclosure.
Because
it
it
just
happened
doesn't
before.
make sense if you're against disclosure.
Yeah, because it happened when they thought they had control.
Yeah.
Of the narrative. That's my guess. I don't know. I'm just saying it makes sense if you look at it in a strategic sense. If you're going,
they're really convenient for some of them. There were 3 of them that were murdered on the same day.
Yeah. And some are literally, as they said, probably not related. So just going to throw that out there. You can take it.
And I think that that's the vast majority, because you see that there's 5 that are directly connected, and the others I couldn't really
find any
string things together on. They were propulsion,
right,
and strange energy and rare products and exotic technology, or what was the word? Not necessarily exotic technology. There was basically sums up to future tech.
Yeah,
they worked on that kind of stuff. But other than that, like the commonalities weren't there. But then all of a sudden there were strings tying 4 of them to McCaslin and Los Alamos and Wright Pat.
I mean, we don't know. That's the whole point. So, you're going to have to follow that data and see where it leads you personally in the next, coming days, because it's hard to tell.
Were the missing scientists called up for a wildfire protocol event?
I mean, who knows? You're literally going with the SG1 hypothesis right there. Like they needed to form some kind of a team.
Yeah,
I don't think so. Because some of them were just too far apart. So I don't really buy it.
Dave says, but it fuels more interest in the subject beyond our relatively small community. It would be counterproductive for the anti-crowd to waste human life for the purpose. Part 2 coming up. And I understand the context there. It does seem counterproductive if that's the case. But I think that some of it's either been thrown in as a red herring, or because somebody else, like I did with all this stuff, stepped back and took a view from 30,000 feet and saw all these missing scientists, because they just started, looking up missing scientists from the last 20 years. And boom, and then found out there's connections with propulsion technology and advanced tech. Oh, okay. Not a part 2, just comparing it to pro versus anti arguments. So it feels like it fuels more interest in the subject beyond our relatively small community. It would be counterproductive for the anti crowd to waste a human life for the pro
side. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, we don't know what's normal for those people. They live in a whole different world.
Yeah.
That's not our reality. They live in a very different world, and their rules are very different. And what's normal for them is definitely not normal for us.
Seth says, I think it's deeper than any one country's borders, but I do think there are specific countries heading it up. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
So what have you guys thought about this? It was really heavy, very info-heavy show. And we didn't even really skim into some of the depths of the conversations that Ron and I have had over this list for the last 2 weeks.
I just for the record, for everybody out there, I'm not a UFO scientist, and
breaking news. I don't care.
I don't care. So, this is pretty much as far as it's going to go with this. We're just going to sit back and watch disclosure break and see exactly what happens, because I really do think that we're very close at this point.
Yeah,
we are very close. Do I think we're going to get anything extraordinary? No. I think we'll get something that makes us scratch our heads a couple of times and say,
you'll get something that make people ask questions.
They'll talk about it for a couple of weeks probably. And here's my bottom line, man. When disclosure happens, you're still going to have to pay your rent. You're still going to have to pay your student loans. You're still going to have to pay for your car. You're still going to have to go to work. Nothing is going to change. That's not going to change anything. Even if they admit, some of this technology is real, you're not going to get it. And if you do get it, it's going to be decades down the road. That's the way I see it. So it's really not going to matter if they tell you. Yeah, it's not going to matter. And, this whole thing where we're talking about, what was it? Luna talking about, for people to read, was it Enoch? No, don't. It's not going to matter. That's just a way for you to accept it better if you have issues with belief systems. But going outside and seeing the sunrise isn't a belief. It's a fact. And no belief's going to change that. It's going to come up and it's going to set every day until it doesn't. And that's what's going to happen with this disclosure thing. It's going to happen. Once it does, this is your world. You are part of this, whether you want it to be or not. You're going to have people screaming it's demons. You're going to have people screaming it's, space brothers. You're going to have people saying, they're here to help us. They're here to do this. I don't think so. I think they're going to do exactly what they've been doing. That's what I think. I'm not them. I don't know. So maybe one day we can have, some member of the Grand Reticulan Fleet come on Wild and Weird Radio and tell us. But until that day comes, it's just speculation.
Yeah.
And all these talking heads who are on here is telling you they know what it is. They know this, they know that. They don't. Please use your brain. Just think. That's all I ask. And then we can move on. Because, again, disclosure doesn't happen in the White House, doesn't happen like that. Happens from people sharing their events and their experiences, just like we've seen here, like we saw at the show, at the meetings, in the shows when they come up to the tables and whisper to us and tell us these things. Well, don't whisper, just tell it. No one, I mean, just let it go, because that's what causes the cascade event. And that's what brings on true disclosure. And that's what we really need more than any of these grainy videos for people to argue over for the next 5 years. That's my take.
Unless again, I think that there are a couple people who were on that chart.
Yeah.
Who are on the verge of breaking the dam.
Well, I mean, you can only, you can get fed up with it. What are you going to do?
Exactly. And I think that if their appetite is not satiated sooner rather than later, that there will be a catastrophic leak. And there will be no way to trace who it came from.
Well, I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Everybody who watched this show will have an idea.
Yeah. I'm pretty much with you on that. I think there's some behind the scenes stuff that's definitely taking place out there. And I think we probably need to just pay a little more attention to things, and maybe even look at the things that people want you to pay more attention to, because that could be a distraction, right?
Seth says, which one of the people from that chart would you like to interview the most?
Which one would be able to talk the most?
Right.
Rather than just sit there and say, I can't really talk about that. Because that's what you get when you interview these people. It's literally what you get.
what setting would the interview be in?
Right.
Is it an interview where you're literally doing an interview and just collecting data, or is it broadcast? Because that changes things. If it's a broadcast interview, a lot of people get more tight-lipped. But if it's just an interview where it's researcher to researcher communication, things tend to be a little bit looser. So,
I mean, yeah. I think that's probably true, but I'm with these guys. I don't know that I'm gonna be able to trust just anyone.
No.
I mean, even if it's Grandpa George, I'm gonna need a little more. I'm gonna need a little more. So we're gonna have to watch and see. And but the disclosure is happening again. I'll say this. And today we saw another bit of that because Dr. Beatrice Villarroel, new paper, right?
Yes.
New paper.
And a lot of confirmation.
Well, let me just pull it up real quick and let you see that, because that's important.
We'll hit that real quick and we'll dive into it deeper next week.
Sure will. I wonder if it'll actually make the news cycle, like the real news cycle next week.
Oh, it'll hit the usual suspects.
You think it will?
I think it'll hit the usual. And when I say the usual suspects, I mean News Nation and Newsmax.
Okay.
And some of the other more fringe news.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't expect to see it on CNN, Fox News, anything like that. I'd be shocked if it gets any runtime on that.
I absolutely agree. Oh, it's doing that weird thing again. Look at that.
All right, so we got.
It's not showing up. There it is.
Is that 1 or 2?
That's fine. That's really all we need. And then I'm going to actually get the link for this so folks can go and have a little look-see at that.
Yep. Freshly submitted paper. This happened today. Led by Professor Steve Brule. We used the machine learning, that's AI, to separate likely real transits from plate defects in a sample of 107,875 events. If correlations were spurious, they would weaken as artifacts are removed. Well, they don't. Instead, the correlations strengthen as the sample gets cleaner. We see 1, the stronger Earth shadow deficit, 2, stronger nuclear test correlation, and 3, highest in the highest probability, cleanest subset. These results support a real, previously unrecognized population of transient phenomena in historical plates, despite many of them being destroyed, I might add. With this paper, we also welcome independent researcher Brian Doherty into our team. Comments and feedback are welcome.
Yeah, there you go. So it looks like, this is going to be a hard one for the skeptics to explain away, because it's completely opposite of what they thought.
Godot says it's Doomsday Dave working on propulsion tech. No, not right now. He maybe from his back end. He's not feeling too good.
That's wrong.
So that's
wrong.
He's setting out. He'll be back with us next week, though.
Yeah. So, basically, what this says is that there was, or there appears to be, a correlation in that nuclear window. How about that, Joe?
Yep.
How about that?
That means when things go boom, things showed up.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, more importantly, when things right before things went boom, they were showing up, which also goes back, to what we talked about a few weeks back, the whole Starfish Prom, those nuke tests where the stuff apparently showed up, and maybe one of them crashed, and maybe that's where we got something. Who knows? But yeah, isn't that interesting? Don't you find that just a little intriguing? I know I do.
I agree.
Yeah, man. Well, let's get these folks out here entered so we can see who's going to win the first. I guess we'll call these things disclosure tags. I don't know what we'll call them. It doesn't really matter. It's a stainless steel tag that's engraved. And then it's got your little barcode on the back. And when you scan this, the mothership comes down and picks you up.
Well, I wish I had a way to instantly do that.
Actually doesn't do that.
No, I mean, chart them all that's here. And
well, how many do we have?
50
people. Okay, well, are there 50 people who are actually engaged in the chat? Because they have
there's like 10
engaged in chat. All right, so whoever wants one, please type like one, just one, like this, just like this. If you want to be entered in, that'll make things a lot easier, like really easy. I'm sorry. There's the other side. Yep. There we go.
Rick Skinner said, so the tag's a get out of jail free card.
No, it's really not. They probably just ignore you. Because I've tried. So while you guys are entering your numbers, I'm just going to play a little flute.
And I will manually enter everybody.
Y'all did that. So, you earned that tonight. And you know what? It was a really heavy topic, an extremely heavy topic. And the fact that you all hung out for it, well, that just says a lot. So I think you deserve it. So let me pull up the right sound over here. And I'll do this while Joe does that. And we'll tag team this thing. Let's see. Echo. Yeah, there it is.
All right, let's see.
Okay. There we go.
Keep going. I'm nowhere near close.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. I wonder. Oh, yeah. Do the orange one. That'll be good. Let's try the orange one. All right, we're going to try this one. Well, that was exciting. There we go. So, folks, while we're getting all that stuff entered over there, Joe's doing that for you. Let us know if in the comments what you think about the show, what you thought about all of Joe's research there, because he doesn't get to typically head an entire topic, which is exactly what he did, and it was really refreshing for me, because it was really cool to let him run with this and start sharing all these little things here and there throughout the week, saying, hey, look, and I'm like, well, this is pretty good stuff. And then the folks who were there at the meeting, of course, you got to see a little bit of it, and then he saved the vast majority for tonight, which was absolutely unbelievable, quite honestly. And you're all welcome. That's that's just some improv stuff that we threw in there. We'll actually be doing at some point in the near future, we're going in the studio, so we're going to make some recordings and whatnot. You'll be able to get those. Dave's gonna pretty much be in charge of that, from what I understand. We're gonna let old Doomsday Dave do that back through the record label that we used to run, or that he used to run. Actually, it's his. He just used to put all of the relics and MJX stuff on there. But you'll be able to pick that up. And of course, we'll make some very exclusive things on there as well. We're going to be experimenting with some sound. So I think you're going to really like it. I guess it would be kind of like a holistic kind of thing. I mean, there's going to be instrumentals there. There may be some form of vocals, but it certainly won't be in any language that you recognize. I can promise you that.
Ron's going to start speaking in tongues, folks. So,
I mean, we don't know. We don't know.
All righty. We've got the list compiled now. I'm going to share that.
Joe, what are you using that one with the wheel?
Yep.
Can you save those names?
To a degree, but like we had so many that were not.
Well, I mean, it'll be easier just to go through and be like, oh yeah, they're here. Take those off and then.
Oh no, I can't save that because as you
Oh.
remove them, once they win, they disappear.
Got you. Okay.
But like,
okay.
yeah, like I can say that, but there was only 4
Understood.
people from the last wheel that were on this run tonight.
Oh, okay. Okay. Understood.
So,
Understood.
all right. And let me get this shared over to you.
Oh, yeah. Let me take us over into presentation. All right.
There we go.
Oh, man. There's a lot of people on that list.
All right, here we go. We're going to click to spin. We're doing, how many we do? One?
We're just going to do the one. Well, we'll do
All right.
these at the end of the shows.
Here we go. This is for a wild and weird dog tag pendant.
This is the red one.
Roll.
Just the red one.
Skinner.
Skinner gets it. All right, Skinner. I need you to send your. Where's that address thing, Joe? Under banner.
I had it up there a second ago. Hang tight.
That's right.
Getting it back.
There we go. I need you to send your mailing address over to that, please, and we'll get this thing out to you. Like I said, you can use these like do a necklace or just put them on your keychain. I know that we were testing one of these and Nathan grabbed one and it's like, oh, that make a great little keychain thing. Pops on his keychain. I'm like, do you think it'll scratch up? He sat there and tried to engrave it with another key, which is what he had to do to actually break the surface. So they're really good. At least the one we tested was. Watch this one. This will probably be like take the nail and scrape it off. But
now, when I picked out the tags to use, they were supposed to be scratch resistant and very specific for what we were needing. So.
You did good. You did very good. They're absolutely perfect, and I think they'll last for a very long time, which is exactly what we needed. So yeah, it's absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Well, folks, It is time.
It is. It is. Let's make sure that you guys get over there and drop a comment underneath, like an actual comment on the episode. Let us know how we did. It helps to get the algorithm out there, and it says, "Oh, look, these guys are actually worth listening to." That helps a lot. And we've seen that of lately. So, multiple thank yous, multiple blessings. Speaking of blessings, next week, Joe, we will have a new blessing.
Next week, I unfortunately will not be here.
Where are you going to be?
Kelly was nominated for Teacher of the Year.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
That's my wife.
That's awesome.
And there is a banquet next Thursday.
Ooh.
And I won't be here at the beginning. I might show up there towards the end of the show.
Well, we'll hold the show down.
So,
yeah, we'll keep it all nice and doomy with Dave.
Good.
So it'll be nice. Yeah, it'll be good. Watch it. This will be next week. Will be the day. Watch, this will happen. This is going to be the day when they make the announcement.
It will be, and I'll miss that
disclosure.
That's my luck, man.
He won't be here for full disclosure. I'm gonna probably look into the crystal ball and see that happening, because that's the kind of thing that would happen.
But now here's the kicker, though. Next week is the pre-show for OBC.
It is.
We got OBC next weekend. Hope to see some of you guys out there with us. And y'all make sure you catch up, since I'm going to do that part now in case I'm not here at all next week. Come out, hang out with us next weekend at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference. Going to be a good time. We're going to be on the 3rd floor, holding it down, having a party. It's going to be good times.
Well, what was that? Somebody asked a question up here, Joseph. Right.
Thank you, Ron.
No, there.
Oh yeah, Jen, don't worry. We're gonna send you your stuff. It's just taking us some time to get these things rolling. I can, if you're coming to OBC, I'll bring yours with us next week.
Multiple.
Ron, Joe, all have a great weekend. Peace out. Go Dot. Good to see you guys always out here with us.
Thank you.
Y'all are awesome.
Thank you all. Y'all go out and have a good weekend. It's gonna be another pretty one, at least in our area. Go out and enjoy the weather. Get out there, soak up some sun, some vitamin D, and stay positive. And if you need to, just rewind that part where he's doing, entering the names, and just listen to the flute. It'll take you wherever you want to go. Not responsible for out-of-body experiences.
All right, guys. We appreciate you hanging out. We will see you again right here next week, Thursday, 8 p.m., Wild and Weird Radio Live. And remember, if you see a bird cage anywhere, keep an eye out. You never know how put off might be stuck in it.
He could be.
Stay wild and weird.